Hi there, good afternoon, how's it going? Today is Friday, June 20th, 2025, currently 68 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 20 degrees Celsius. This is Poprad in northern Slovakia at the base of the Tatra mountains along the border of Slovakia and Poland. I came by bus from Zakopane, Poland yesterday, a 2-hour bus journey, and booked a room here, as I showed, in what is called a pension. There are lots of pensions. They're a pension restaurant, and so it's kind of a guest house, but they seem to be made to be, you know, for visitors, with a nice kind of a living room area, but with a proper reception desk downstairs, and then multiple rooms upstairs with their own bathroom. So a pretty cool arrangement. And so in the last video, then I arrived here later in the afternoon, and it was a cloudy day. So here we have an amazing sunny day. And so I just kind of wandered around. I was trying to get over to my pension there, and saw the church that is now blocked by the tree. But I saw the church off in the distance and remarked, well, if there's a big church, maybe that is where the old town of Poprad is, because I wasn't sure yet. And then I discovered, no, the old town of Poprad and the main square and another church is about like 2 kilometers or so that way. And so I walked over there and showed that yesterday. But I decided to start the video here, and am glad that I walked up here to check it out, because sure enough, even though this is not the city center old town, it is certainly an old town surrounded by all these really pretty buildings. So there, looks like 1925, 2008. So I tried to go into the church to see if the door was open. It was locked, and it kind of clunked and made a big sound, and so I decided to start the video as I showed just outside there. But right before that, as I was getting ready to start the video clip, then I heard the lock start to make these noises as somebody was trying to open it from the inside. It kind of took her a while, and then she opened it, and I tried to gesture saying, can I look inside? And she said, nay, nay. So maybe they were having some meeting in there or something, I don't know. But anyways, big, beautiful church, and a really interesting neighborhood around here. So my plan for today is going to be to try to get closer to the mountains, but I'm not sure what's going to happen, in part because I'm getting a late start. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Had a lazy morning there, but it isn't far up to the really cute looking towns right at the base of the mountains. It's only like 20 minutes or something, and there are lots of trains and buses going there. So my plan was to just show the church and then get cruising over to the train station. But this is such an interesting and pretty part of the city. So let's poke around a little bit. I really love the style that I'm seeing. 2006 there. Here in Slovakia, certainly a bit similar to Poland, yet also still different. There is definitely a different history between the countries. Okay, maybe we have some English here. Let's take a look. You can see beautiful stained glass there. Yes, Spišská Sobota, with its ancient character, is the oldest part of town Poprad. So there you go. This is the old town. This is the even older town. which has been firstly mentioned in the document of Bela IV from 16th March 1256 under the name Forum Sabate, Saturday's Market. Spišská Sobota complied to all requirements to face the competition in line with such important business centers as Levoča, and Kežmarok. So I think that Levoča is a place that somebody had recommended in a comment recently, and I saved it on my phone. Spišská Sobota is a gem of architecture and art. In year 1950 has been declared a town historical reservation. So St. George's Church, Roman Catholic parish church of the 13th century with unique 5 late Gothic wooden wing altars. And so there you can see the time. It's actually 1:20. 1848. There, Spišská Sobota, what it was saying on the sign there. Founded in the first half of the 12th century on the so-called the Great Road. The former Slavic settlement was colonized and later populated by the German settlers, tracing their origins to the southern Rhone Valley. The oldest written mention of Spišská Sobota dates back to the year of 1256. In the second half of the 15th century, and in the course of the 16th century, the town flourished economically. Between the years 1412 to 1772, it was pledged to Poland, which is very close. So that's interesting to hear that even more than 500, actually more than 600 years ago, 1412, pledged to Poland, so implying that there was even then a distinction between Poland and Slovakia, but then it became part of Poland. But the history of the different countries isn't just something that was invented after World War II or the fall of the Soviet Union, when Czechoslovakia broke into Czech Republic and Slovakia. There have been shifting of the borders, but the different cultural identities and the different languages, even if they're very similar but still different, goes back, a long time. So it isn't an arbitrary, random thing of making the borders between these countries, even though there are certainly many similarities in some respects. So I just stopped into that market there and bought some lunch supplies and a random ginger shot, citron, and med, whatever that is. Just looked interesting, so let's give it a try here. Oh yeah, that's got some kick to it. I'll show you what else I got there for lunch once I get to the train station. And look at that. That's where we're headed. The mountains. It definitely has a very 15th, 16th century feeling to it. The style of the buildings, the paintings, the decorations. Not sure if it's all necessarily that old, but alright, let's try to go down this way. Those mountains are so dramatic. They aren't that high, but they are spectacular. Looks like a cemetery here. Funny little dog. He seems more scared than aggressive. So I had a feeling that I was going to really like Slovakia, and sure enough, I really, really like it, even though Poprad here is far from the best place to see in the country by the sounds of it, but I just like the feeling here. And the beautiful landscapes, of course. People have been very friendly. Epic mountains. Classic European old towns. Good food. Had a great pork with mashed potatoes and mushrooms last night, and good prices. And look at those mountains. Just phenomenal. You can see it is a short range. I mean, basically from there to there by the looks of it. I don't see any more higher peaks out there. Maybe there's another section somewhere, but I know from reading online that it is like a very short, well, short in height and short in length mountain range. Alright, so things are working out. Just bought a ticket there. The lady spoke good English. It was €7 round trip. That is $8 to Sturbski Pleso. Departure at 2:36. So it is currently 2:02. So I have 30 minutes direct train. So that is one of the main places to go, as well as Lomniki Stit. So Lomniki Stit is the second tallest peak in Slovakia, and I guess there's a cable car that goes all the way to the top. It's actually a series of like 3 different cable cars, trams, whatever. But considering my late start, then I'm not going to try to do that today. I still have tomorrow. Definitely want to get up there. And so I got the ginger shot that I showed. And muesli cookies, I guess. Pistachios. Pistaci. Crisp bread. Basically crackers. Oh, with berries and chocolate. Okay. Cheese, so that's going to be interesting. Cheese with berries and chocolate. And a pastry. Looks good, and all of this was €17. That is $19.50.
Well, I got my baby, and she's a good old lady. I don't mess around. I know better than that. It ain't that hard.
And so we are now at Szczerbski Pleso. So we came through here, Stary Smokovets, and then here, Szczerbski Pleso on a lake, which I can actually see right over there. So I was wrong about the train taking only 20 or 30 minutes. I just checked on Google Maps how far of a drive it is from here back to Poprad, and it says 28 minutes. However, the train took an hour and 10 minutes. It goes very slowly and makes a lot of stops. So I was hoping that maybe I could take a bus back, which presumably would be quicker, but I guess no bus is going, so it will be another train ride back in a little while. So I'm just going to wander around here, show the very cute little town. Before I go to the lake, there is something called the Pools of Love. So let's go try to find that. Sounds pretty nice. Okay. Ooh, Morskie Oko. So everybody was recommending Morskie Oko, and I just didn't make it there. So where was that relative to Zakopane? So the border of Poland and Slovakia, I think that is it. Where is Zakopane? Kuznice. Oh, Zakopane is way up there. So Morskie Oko is a bit of a drive, and then I think a hike as well. And so we are here. So that is funny. We are actually closer to Morskie Oko than Zakopane, but the mountains are in the way, so you can't just go like that. Not exactly sure what we have here as far as what is hiking trails versus roads, but I think these must be all hiking trails. Anyways, here we are. There is the lake. The Pools of Love are somewhere up here, just a 5-minute walk away. So that is the Tatra mountains there. And I can feel the mountain chill. It is definitely colder up here than down in Poprad. So it's going to be a relatively short visit here. Spend a couple hours or whatever checking things out. So when I was considering my plans, I was thinking of staying here and then decided to stay in Poprad instead. This would have been a good choice as well. It looks really nice. Quite the character. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what all the hubbub is around here, as far as why all the cars and everything, what there is to do from here. Once again, I just love the style of the buildings here. Just a little snack shack, but a really cool wooden structure. So you are here, or rather I am. Here is the lake. Szczerbski Pleso, 1346 meters. That is about 5,000 feet. The highest mountains here, the tallest looks like is Vysoka, 2560 meters. That is more than 8,000 feet. And so what I'm trying to get to, the Pools of Love, is the Jazierka Laszki. I actually walked a little bit in the wrong direction, but there is something to see up there, some sort of a historical building. Oh, and then looks like you can get a view of the lake there. So maybe I'll walk around. Maybe I could just walk all the way around the lake and then go back to that later. And so you can see all these hiking trails. Oh, there's a restaurant up there, it looks like. and then another smaller lake there. So it's not, you know, a big town. It's just kind of a village, just a resort village, I guess. Prone Villa and Gemerka. In 1981, Baron Pavel Prone had the private 5-bedroom villa built near the eastern bank of the Tarn. I guess a tarn means a lake, because I was looking on Google Translate on the train, trying to figure out what Sturbski Pleso meant, and I forget now which word translated to tarn, which is not a word we actually use. Not in American English anyways, maybe in English, British English or something, but I guess tarn means lake. After World War I, the Prone Resort was renamed to a student dormitory, Studenka. After World War II, the building was named to a lodging house, Tuček, after the Czechoslovak army officer Stefan Tuček. And look at that house, or restaurant, or whatever. I'd love to see that one in person. Let's try to find it. Patria, it says. Joseph Shentivani, 1817 to 1905. So the Koliba Patria was that restaurant. And there's the lake right there. But man, definitely feeling chill. Alright, time to put on my jacket, I guess. Very, very pretty sight. We got ducks. Looks like they got goats or sheep. And I think that this is that restaurant. Looks like it's painted a different color from the photo, which was orange. Yep, Patria. Nice place there. Very tempting to stop and get a beer while looking out at the lake, but I just got here, so. Let's do the walk. Whoa, what the heck is that? Crazy looking building. Some kind of a viewing platform? It looks like straight out of Star Wars or something. This weird high-tech thing sticking out of the forest. I guess we'll get a little closer look at it in the course of the walk. I assume this goes around the lake. We shall find out.
Mam ten twój fotek.
Okay, we have an explanation of the tarns. Tarns and waterfalls. Our country is poor in natural lakes. However, the region of the Tatras is considered an exception, with various lakes that have been called tarns by local people from of old. The first written reference to this name can be found in Notitia Hungari, a work written by the well-known Slovak scholar Matej Bell in 1736, where the author mentions the tarn of Popradsky Pleso, which was originally called Ryby Pleso. The tarns in the Tatras are relics of various ice ages, when valleys were covered with glaciers. However, first visitors that came to the Tatras did not know that, and had their own versions of how the tarns in the Tatras originated. For example, they thought that Modre Pleso was formed of tears that a blue-eyed girl cried out after her lover had died. Water of the Baltic was believed to have penetrated through various cracks, underground tunnels and caves up to the valleys in the Tatras, and formed beautiful lakes in this way. People would call them eyes of the sea. Interesting. And now I can't see that strange building. I guess we'll get another look at it from the other side of the lake over there. And so there's that crazy looking building. What the heck is that thing? I can't figure it out just looking at it. I'll check my phone later and try to find out what it is. And they have bears around here. The brown bear is the biggest European beast of prey. So that is the Tatra's Tower, and it is a viewing platform, which may or may not have a restaurant in it. I couldn't quite figure that out, but must be a pretty spectacular view from up there. So now I'm not sure if that is the Tatra's Tower, because the photos look more like that one straight ahead, which is much lower. So that might be the Tatra's Tower. And then I couldn't find that on Google Maps. That one is a lot more dramatic and unreal looking compared to that one. Crazy. Man, oh man, the wind is picking up. It is getting genuinely chilly. And almost around the lake. Another interesting mountain character. Looking very wizardly. So here we go, the guy Joseph Centivani was the founder of Szczerbski Pleso, one of the founders of the first tourist organization, Hungarian Carpathian Association. Thanks to him, the first tourist paths from Szczerbski Pleso to Podbanski to Lichka Dolina and to the ridge of Solishko were built. He took care of artificial restocking of fish, I guess, in Szczerbski Pleso. Jazirka Laski, Lakes of Love. I think it is a short hike. Looks like it. Very short. Very pretty. They're very, very shallow. But a beautiful sight. Okay, that is going to do it for Strbski Pleso. There is a train leaving in 15 minutes, so going to jump on this one, get back to Poprad, and then tomorrow is another day. So lots more coming from Slovakia. See ya.